Welcome to the Married in Real Estate Show. In this show, we highlight power couples working in real estate and living a life of love. Today's special guest is Gil and Lorena Ramos. They are parents to 6 beautiful children. They run an organization of over 2,000 agents. And on top of that, she is a real estate powerhouse attorney. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you, guys.
And you guys have like 2 sets of twins. Is that right?
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Well, I got to say, welcome to the show. We're super excited to have you on. And, you know, Gil, I've gotten to know you over the past 2 years. You are, to me, an amazing thought leader, high-level coach. I love what you're doing with your office. You guys have grown astronomically. And how you guys are building leaders within your organization. I love and admire that. Shifting over to Lorena. I mean, you are a lawyer. You've had your family law practice for many years, helping families here in Central Florida. And now you've joined us on the other side in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. So now you are doing real estate with Celebration. Is that Celebration Title?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you guys have achieved so much success during over the past several years. Take us back to when you met. So I just want to hear how you guys met. Where did this all start?
You want to hear the true story? Or you want to hear her story?
Really?
You want
the truth, then you want mine.
I'll let you tell your version. Go ahead.
Like full honesty version.
Dale, let's hear it.
No, none of that. Okay, so I used to work for in a law firm, did real estate law, and I met a gentleman who said that he was the uncle of my assistant. Anyways, he said that he knew a guy who was looking for a real estate attorney, this one, who can he wanted a young attorney that he can manipulate to help him out. Because he was doing foreclosures. I mean, he was doing modifications at that time, and it was really big. We met in 2009, so it was right in the middle of the crash. And he wanted someone that he can pretty much puppet. And
they introduced me to her.
Then I met him, and he's like, "Oh, you have to meet him at Starbucks for your first meeting." And that's where I didn't know what he was going to look like. I showed up late. Because, you know, let's be real. You guys all know where Point Siena is, right? So I was a single mom of the girls, and that's the only place I could afford. So I lived in Point Siena next to the grandmother. And there's one way out, one way in, and there was an accident. So I was late. So I show up, and he was not happy that I was late.
I was halfway through my caramel macchiato.
Yeah. So I sit down, we start talking, and I found it extremely rude that he didn't even offer me anything to drink.
She was late.
Right? Like nothing, not like, hey, can I get you a cup of coffee? Nothing. So then the guy, his name is Tito Collazo, he came in, and he came in late too. And he's like, hey, you want something to drink? I'm like, oh man, that would be great. Thanks. You know, so anyways, we kind of talked it out, and we went through what he was looking for, and then the meeting kind of ended. And I went back to my office, and I spoke with Tito's niece, who I said was my assistant, and I'm like, let me tell you something.
You can tell that part?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I said, I just met the most hot, sexy, arrogant SOB I've ever met in my entire life. I said, I cannot believe it. He's so arrogant, but I'm gonna have to get me some of that.
She said, I'm gonna have to hit that.
I did love it. And here we are, 12 years later. And
I love that.
It worked out.
It worked out. Okay, so Gil, now we need your version.
No, that was mostly, she actually changed that to a hybrid version, so we're gonna let that one go.
He clearly didn't get to manipulate me, and I clearly got that. So.
You skipped a lot in between, from the manipulating to how did we?
We started working.
Here's the deal. So I actually had a company, and they were changing the rules. So I wanted to have an attorney that was going to be able to work with me and be the front of my business and see a lot of my clients. So I basically was like, okay, here's what you're going to do. and I've never met her before. I'm like, you're going to sit in this chair right here. I'm going to bring clients to you. You're going to say this. And she's like, no, let me tell you how this is actually going to happen, because there's actually laws involved here. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about those. This is how I want to do it. She's like, well, and she actually, I don't know how she kind of like did this Jedi mind trick, and we actually worked out something, but that's how we started our businesses. And really, as I was doing that, she actually started her company, which was the Cardama law firm. And, we kind of launched both of our careers pretty much at the same time. I mean, the reality of the great part of our story is we kind of both started out together, kind of figuring things out. Right. I mean, I had my company, but it was just really just getting started. She just started her company within, I think, 6 months of us meeting. Right. She literally napkined the plan. And I was like, hey, listen, it's going to take you like 6 months to do this plan. She's like, within like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, she'd already done like 90% of the stuff. And within 3 months, she'd already started the new company and went going. But we've always kind of worked together. In fact, what's amazing about our story is that we've always, for the most part, worked within a few feet of each other since we've met.
You see how close we are now? That's how we always are.
Not like this. Not like that. My office is right there. And, like, she moved into a new office. I moved in with her office. Then I moved and she moved in with me. And at the old office in Roslyn, her office was there. And then after the pandemic, I moved in here and she moved in here. And as we just been moving in together. So
I love it. I love it. So now you guys have separate businesses, yet you're always within a few feet of each other, complimenting each other, I'm sure. How has that been? And I know you've got the 6 kids. How do you balance all of that? Successful careers, children. Yeah,
just say your answer and then I'll tell the truth.
Okay. That's going to be our hashtag. Tell your answer and then I'll tell you the truth. So, for me, the way it works the best has just been really supporting one another's vision. One thing that me and Gil have is that our values are the same, right? He doesn't have a value of like money over family, and I don't have a value of family over money. Like ours really like, intertwined. Intertwined. There's a strong synergy between us. So when he needs to do his stuff to make the business grow, then I need to do my stuff at home to balance out the stuff at home. When I need him to step in because I'm doing something for work, then he steps in and takes the other role. Because it's not like a mom role or a dad role. It's just, we're both parents and we're both business owners, and we both want to strive to help the business grow, because by doing so, we help others grow. And then, of course, we create the generational wealth that is in our forefront. That's what we want, right? We don't want money for today. We want money for generations past on our children. So we take our roles and we accept them, and we don't hold each other back from them. And because neither one of them, I believe, is dimmer than the other. So me having to cook dinner, or prepare like breakfast for him while he's in a Zoom, or take care of the kids because he's traveling, doesn't make me any less part of the business, and it doesn't make me any less part of the contribution, because he's out there doing the hustling part of it. Right. So that's how I think it balances.
Yeah, here's how it really balances. Okay. So all those things you said are true, right? But honestly, we joke about this all the time. It's like, you just got to know your role. Like, sometimes my role is this, sometimes my role is that. I don't try to like be her. She doesn't try to be me. Like, and I'm comfortable with her. Like, I always tell her, I'm going to retire because of you, right? Like, she's the big win. So I'm always like, write your book, do this, do that, because like, I'm going to retire off of you. And I've it's kind of been the funny part of our story is like, in the beginning, when most people don't know this beginning, like, there was parts where I was struggling hard, and she would like underneath the table was slide me her debit card so I could pay in front of other people, and nobody would know that shit. Like they always thought I was bawling, right? So it was like, oh yeah, I was like, my card's going to decline. Just let you know.
I love that.
Just let you know. And she would always, and I think that's the beauty is like, I got to marry my best friend. She makes me look good. I make her look good. Like we're just there chilling, and like what we're always really looking to do is just hang out. Like that's kind of like our thing. That's kind of why we work. I have friends that are like, I don't know how you work with your wife. I'm like, how do you not? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, my only goal is to come home. Like, I do everything outside the house to make sure that we have a house and do the things we want to do. But like, the biggest thing is that, we've got 6 kids, and most of them listen to us most of the time. Right. And, we all have a role. I mean, people look at us and they think, oh, you got 6 kids. How do you handle that? It's like, we don't. Like, the reality is like we have 8 people in this family and everybody has a role. And, we're all trying to get better every single day. And, we all hit challenges. And the truth of the matter is, God loves us and hates us. So all our kids are different. Like some of, everybody thinks like you can just say one thing to one kid. Like I've got some kids that are gangsters, right? And I got some kids that are lovers, and I've got some kids that they're like anything will set them off. So you got to talk to every one of them a little bit different, and kind of massage the situation. But it's like, forget about the 2,000 agents. Like this is like the training ground for building a business. If you want to prosper, get 6 kids. It'll teach you a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
I believe that so much. And I love you guys fit together like a glove, right? So you guys complement each other. You have each other's back through thick and thin. In the beginning, most of us are kind of struggling until we really catch momentum and the deals start coming in, the pipelines are full and things start coming up. But in the beginning, that could be really tough. And so it's so important to have that partner that has your back, that is watching every move and can compliment you right when that needed time is, however that might look, right? And so that's awesome. You guys are such a I want to say what's the word I want to use, that your example for your family, for your kids, but even for those who are watching. Recently this week, I was talking with one of our agents who said, having seen the relationship between the two of you, even as imperfect as it is, but you have a relationship. And that has given me something to look forward to. And I didn't have that growing up. And so now I want more for my life. And over the past year, they've been watching, they've been acting differently and kind of really trying to level up their life and their game and their work and everything. And now even the people around them are seeing the difference, and he's now making an impact in other people. And I thought, wow, how powerful is that? Just from them seeing this relationship, people seeing your relationship, how much you guys are impacting other people all around. So kudos to you guys for that.
When you go through those hard times and those tough times, I mean, you learn a lot from each other, man. That's the most important thing. It's like when you're able to overcome those situations and those difficult times. Honestly, I always say that, man, our most difficult time were actually, to me, you learn so much from those times that you won't be able to really take that with you to your journey. You understand? It's going to take you to a journey, but that's going to complete your journey.
Well, it sets you up.
So.
So what I can add to that is why I find that our relationship works so well, even now that we've reached a certain level of success, right, versus where we were, is because we agree that the level of success came from both of us, right? We were both in a situation when we started that, neither one
from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah, we literally, I was broke, single mom. He was,
I look like I wasn't.
He was broke. Let's just call it for what it is, right? And then we got 2 broke people and trying to make it with now 4 kids. We went from a house of 2 and 2 to a house of 4, and we blended our family. And then as stuff started happening and we started growing and we started investing and we started believing in bigger dreams, we started realizing that more things were possible. We did it together. What I see that happens in certain relationships where there's more toxicity and more hostility between them is that one person is the forefront of the business. In this case, it would be Gil, right? They're the forefront of the business. They're the name that is more used, or the limelight is more on them. So they tend to kind of take credit for everything, and then the partner is like, well, like, I packed your bags, like I cooked you dinner, I traveled with you, I took care of the kids. Like, why are
success you not a one-way road?
Right. Yeah. So credit has to be given both ways, no matter, like I said, how insignificant. I say that with quotes because there's no insignificant work in a relationship and in a marriage, right? Everything has to be given credit, and because together you guys go up. Barack Obama was the president, but Michelle was right there giving him his back. She wasn't the president, right? But they grew. Their story is incredible too. They grew together, both, again, from nothing, and grew up to then, become such huge success. But like he mentions, without her, he wouldn't have gotten to the place, because it's what I don't think a lot of men like to admit, right? Or women like to admit either, is sometimes it's not how I got there, it's who was there to believe in that dream with me, right? So he had a vision. I believed in his vision, right? So sometimes that's all he needed, was to say, hey, she believed in it, so I'm going to prove her right, right? So we're going to make it. Versus I believe I can do it, but I'll just let myself down if I don't. There's no one really supporting me if I needed to be there. I tell him all the time, I have no problem disappointing myself, but I will not disappoint others, right? So I think that's the thing. It's being able to say, he's like, this is what I want, and I'm like, go do it. I believe that you can accomplish it, and that's how I think we accomplish it.
You're gonna make me well up on the mic there. I'm very sensitive. Like most people, the funny thing is that most people understand, I guess, like what they believe my persona is, right? And like I tell people all the time that I'm an introvert by nature, and we're kind of both introverts. Like honestly, we're kind of antisocial Fs. But honestly, like I'm you don't see me go out to a lot of parties and things of that nature, and I do. I'm just trying to get home, right? So,
Gil, you're my partner when we go out.
Yes.
Actually, can I just tell you guys something? Like, you're like one of the couples that I really, really do appreciate. And I'm like, literally, one of the things that I'm most happy about the whole EXP experience was meeting you guys and playing hooky during the gala together. And I was like, we're having dinner with them. Yeah. Like, you realize that, like, people that you want to be around, right? So that was one of the most special dinners. And to be honest with you, it's something we'll never forget. We have the picture of that in our bedroom. So it's I cherish you guys and honor your relationship, because I think that is an example that we're all trying to emulate. You're all trying to get better and things of that nature. And listen, you have no idea. She's a divorce attorney. Like, I have to have my game on when she's angry, right? We Google shit. We like, oh man, like she's got Alexa behind her. I've got Google. Like, my Google is better than her Alexa, I can tell you. But we are like warriors. Like, listen, our family, and we have a witty family too. So you got to be on top of your game. But I think, iron sharpens iron. I think that's kind of what I'm getting to. I always kind of look at people and think to myself, like, man, if you just kind of like it's hard for us guys to do this too. Is sometimes you just gotta just let go a little bit, because you don't have all the right answers. And like, I can tell you one thing. It's like, and I'm not just saying this for the show. It's like, this wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have worked together on this in ways that people never see, they never can imagine, things of that nature. And I see a lot of couples try to do this, and the one thing is that they have to know which role they're working, right? And you have to know, like, we're all working towards the same goal. And no matter what people see, what they don't see, it doesn't really matter, because we have to see each other, And I think that's the part that makes it all work.
I think you hit the nail on the head. We are a team that works together, right? So even when things aren't going well, which could be easy to say, I don't know what you're doing, this is what I'm doing. No, we are on the same team, right? And so we just have to get that offensive strategy ready, get that game plan ready, right? And so when things go wrong, okay, where can we pivot? How do we change the game up a little bit so that we are both working in sync together, right? So we win together, we lose together, we learn, and we keep growing and scaling and from there. So let's take it back a little bit. So you have each reached massive success. I'll start with you, Gil. What's the story? Where did that all begin? Like, you're with one company, moved into EXP, and now all of a sudden you guys have blown up. Tell us about that.
I'm glad she mentioned the whole like belief in you, because there's been some things I've done that I feel like if that didn't happen, like if she didn't like just say just go, I mean, that probably would have screwed them all up, because it gives me something to stand for. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, we've done some stuff that surprised me, to be very frank with you. Like, I'll say, hey, I'm going to do this. And she's like, you're going to go do it. And I'm like, I was just kidding, kind of. I was really just talking out loud.
Now I have to do it.
I was really just talking out loud. It's just like commitment. That's a commitment, right? You said that. You have to go do that. Go.
I'm going to stop you there real quick because, the coach, John Sheplack, he always says that you have to publicly declare, right, your commitments. And so when you do that, you're more likely to step up to it, right? Because you said it, and now you have to do it.
Now you got to continue it.
Yeah. Our first year in EXP was interesting because we had a perfectly good business, right? We were, we had the exit franchise for 5 years. We were number one every year that we were there. We were number one office, number one closing, sales, listings, all that. Like every goal we wanted, we hit it, right? So here we are, and I think it's like, hey, babe, like this whole EXP thing. I was like, let's go take a look at this. And I'll be very frank with you. I remember Carlos telling me, hey, listen, okay, I have this.
This is his impression of Carlos. Carlos, we love you.
I want you and Lorena to go to with us to the EXP, and it's going to be in Las Vegas. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna take us to Las Vegas.
Hold on, we lost audio, or is that just us? Oh yeah, they're muted.
Better?
There you go.
There we go.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to your little EXP function, right? I'm going on vacation with my wife, right? So like I'm gonna go to Vegas. I'm gonna go do that with you, but just know I'm just going there to just say that I was there with you, and then I'm gonna go to vacation with my wife, right? So if you're cool with that, and we're on the same page, you're not gonna hurt feelings. I tell you no, like then I'm cool with going, right? So we literally went up there, and she's like, Gil, you got to go do that. Go meet some people, blah blah. And we walked down the hallways, and I'm literally just looking for reasons to say no, right? That was my reason. Like we're just there to go vacation. We're having a fun time in Vegas, and we walk into this guy, and he's just kind of sitting there, and he has a crowd of people around him. I'm like, okay, he's between me and the door. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna write this guy's name down, and that's gonna be end of story. We're out, right? We're going back to exit. And dude, you're getting like a ton of shout outs. You're so popular.
Come on, thank you, Jacqueline.
I don't have any pop. Anyway, so like I walk up to this guy. I'm like, hey man, you know what this whole EXP thing's about? And he's like, yeah, I know a little bit about it. I'm like, cool. Explain to me, right? And before he could even, I'm such a jerk. Before he could even finish talking about it, I'm like, hey, do you make any money on this? And I was like, if you make any money on this, show me your numbers. Like, I heard you have an app. Show me your app. So he grabs a phone and he's like pretending he's going to show it to me. Because like for 5-7 minutes, he keeps telling me about EXP and Glenn Sanford and 7 levels. I don't care anything about that. And I'm like, just show me your money, right? It's like, dude, you know what? I'm so sorry. I probably should never ask you. That's so sensitive. I was like, you don't have to show me money. I was like, no, I'll show it to you. And then so he finally shows it to me. It's like 200, and he shows me it's like $267,000. And I'm like, hey man, that's really awesome. I was like, hey, thank you very much for sharing it with me. But I'm not moving my company to make $267,000 a year. And he's like, oh no, that's what I made last month. And I'm like, 1 second, babe, meet Mr. G. G's gonna tell us about how he did that. And that was it. And I was like, okay. So then I came back.
So hold on, stop for a second. So you just randomly walked up to someone, you asked them to show you what he made, and it just happened to be Gene Frederick. Gene Frederick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's the universe right there.
Google him, look him up.
So let me jump in here for a second, because we all know EXP is a great opportunity, but when we talked about it, it was new and scary. It's like what you don't know. But one thing that he said, I need to know that you're on board before we make this decision. And for us, it was not so much about how is this going to impact us. And I know he jokes about like how much money we're making, but it was like, how much more can we give to our agents, right? Because we realized that at exit, where we were, we were capped. We weren't capped. You keep bringing agents, you keep bringing more money, but our agents were capped. And the goal for us has never been to be successful on our own. The goal for us has always been, okay, we're going to be successful, and who can we bring with us?
Make money with friends and family.
Right. So when EXP presented itself and the opportunity for our agents to make the same, if not more than us, because that's the beauty of EXP is that you're not going to always be under us, even though you may be under us in line, right? We knew we had to step back from income. We knew we were going to take a cut. And we knew we would have to work together on that. So during that period of time, like I had to scale my business up so that he can scale his business back. And the financial impact wasn't hard while we did the transition, and we grew and our agents grew. And here we are 2,000 agents in, or close to 2,000 agents in. And now the beauty is that now that I'm able to retire from the family law and no longer do that business, because our focus is now placed on this. So again, it really just falls back on understanding each other's goals and being in line with your values, right? Because the value wasn't, oh, how am I going to shine? How is my name going to be in lights? Or, you know, how much money am I going to put in my pocket? That wasn't our value. Our value is, which has always been, is how can we give in contribution, you know? And as we all know, you know, you give, you receive, and no matter what you believe in, that's the universal belief. And, you know, when you give, you receive. So if you put negative energy out, negative energy will come back. If you put positive energy of contribution and give to others, that will reciprocate back to you. And that's why we've been so successful and why we've been able to achieve so much of our goals, because the forefront of our goals has never been us, but others.
Yeah, our biggest achievement actually has been helping other people grow. Like one of the things that I take a lot of pride in and I put a lot of passion in is helping people get to the next level. Helping leaders create leaders, helping people build generational wealth. That's super important to me. From my story, my dad changed my life when he decided to, you know, go against the grain and buy the most expensive house after living in the hood our entire life. He bought a house that was $35,000, and if you can imagine what a $35,000 house looks like, that's what it looked like, right? And you know, but we owned something. And it was super significant for us. And I'm the oldest of 5 brothers. And it was something that kind of just like resonated for us. I mean, my father got into real estate. I didn't like real estate in the beginning, but I learned to love it later on. But, you know, I think that this part of the business that we're in right now, and really with every person, I don't care what company you work for, it's like we're here to develop talent. We're here to help other people grow. That's what we do. As a client, we help people move and transition from one place to another, and usually, you know, usually for something better, right? And you know, I think we're cutting close to where we're looking at, you know, 20-something days left before the ball's going to drop, right? And you know, our hope is that, you know, everybody that we can touch, that, you know, they come into 2022 with prosperity. That was the name of our company. The name of our company was Unlimited Prosperity Group, and you know, that was, and it still is. That still is our company. You know, it's about, you know, creating unlimited opportunities for people, and you know, by, you know, showing people a way. You know, my father showed me a way, and I'm trying to show people the way. And that's kind of what we do every day. That's what excites me about going to work every day and doing what we do, is we can help people do what, you know, has been shown to us, what we're going to do in the future. And we're going to do some pretty incredible things in the future. But you know, hopefully we'll be able to bring enough people that, you know, they'll be able to bring, you know, an exponential amount of people with them. So that's kind of like, that's what's exciting right now, to be honest with you. I mean, it's that's what we do. That's what we do together as a couple, but that's what we do as an organization. And it's getting to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys are really living and leading as you go. I love that you two are so beautifully aligned together and complementing each other. Lorena, you recently made a change from family law and now into real estate. So tell us a little bit about that transition and why you did that.
Okay, so I opened my own law firm, the Cardama Law Group, back in October 2009. And primarily it's always been family law. In the beginning, you know, that's what I wanted to do. That's, you know, and, you know, as of anything, repetition makes perfection, right? Or at least it makes you look perfect. And I'm really good at what I do. Like, for the most part, I was really good. But imagine 14 years of dealing with people's worst parts of their lives, right? Dealing with divorces and child support and alimony and taking custody from one parent to give to another. And that takes a toll on you, right? So, again, it wasn't about the money. It was about how am I helping people? And of course, people are going to be like, oh, you helped me. I did. I'm sure. I helped a lot of people get out of bad situations. I helped a lot of people restart their lives. But at what cost, right? That's something that always weighed on me. And we went, as you guys know, we're huge Tony Robbins followers, right? I always talk about him. I say he's our guru. He's not, but that's what I say. So we went to a Date with Destiny back in 2015, I believe it was. And in one of the exercises there, I had like this huge, what Oprah calls aha moment, right? Like I didn't realize why I was so unhappy despite being successful in achieving all the goals I have ever achieved, right? Like internally, not that I wasn't happy in my marriage or with my children, but I still felt unfulfilled was really the answer. And I was always doing that soul searching of like, why, and in that moment, I realized that it was because what I was doing was not aligned with my core values, right? It was like, what were my core values? Well, my core values are not to hurt someone, to win something, right? It wasn't to take from you to give to him or take from him to give to you. And that is law, right? That is just the essence of law, is especially family law, is how, in order for me to be successful and win for my client, I have to take from the other. I have to crush the other side. I have to make them feel like, all their dirty laundry's out there. Their secrets are being told. I'm taking money from them. I'm taking their kids from them. I'm taking the house from them. And I was really good at it, but it's not me internally. So from that moment, we're in 2021, right? I realized that that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to continue my life hurting others for accolades or hurting people for those wins, right? So I talked to him about it, and he agreed. He saw the stress that it would cause on me. I hated Mondays. Oh my God, Sunday came in, it was anxiety-driven nights. Yeah. Like I hated to wake up the next morning because I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that. And we created a plan, and EXP was part of that plan, right? EXP was my way out. So I knew I had to scale up so that we can win here. And then once we win here, I can pull back. And that's exactly what we did. I just wanted to do something that brought peace and freedom internally to me, and that was no longer a mental health situation, because other people's ugly parts of their story doesn't need to trickle down into my own. And I always say, real estate, you guys got it together. Like, not only do you are some of the richest and more successful people are because of real estate, right? You're not going to find super rich millionaire attorneys that became millionaires because
they help people
outside of the the personal injury attorneys, right? Most of them became successful because they invested their income in real estate, right? And they're good luck finding a really happy attorneys. Like, if you find them, tag me, because truly, genuinely happy attorneys, not those who say it. So I realized that you guys had an industry where collaboration was key, right? Working together for the purpose of growth together, right? Contributing to others, and not having to take from anyone in order to win. I was like, I've been doing this wrong this whole entire time. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I joined you guys because I left the dark side to come to the light side.
Only thing is, I had been trying to get her to get into real estate for like 10 years prior to that, soft little sales and stuff like that. But then EXP comes to like, that's it. I'm in. And honestly, I was so happy because, she was award winning. She won all the freaking awards every single year, chosen by her peers and like that. But it came at a low cost. And I was like, man, if there's anything we can do to get you to have peace in your life, that's all I want. I think that's what every man wants for their spouse and for their children, is to find peace and happiness and love and prosperity and health. And, that's it. Right. So at my core, all I wanted to do that first year was get that 1,000 agents. Right. So I was like, if I get that 1,000, we could do this, right? And that was the first part. And then right now, the part is about just helping people, get their 1,000, right? Helping people like yourselves get to your 1,000 people, right? Mm-hmm. And get that same feeling, and just kind of just reveling in that, and just kind of getting back to your core, right? The reason why I think that we're probably doing the best we've ever had is because we're working in alignment with our own core values. We studied Tony Robbins together. We got to learn a little bit. It was like, oh, do I really believe that? No, maybe I don't. We started asking ourselves questions and really challenging ourselves. And we did that for a few years of going through wherever Tony was. That's where we were going. We went to Fiji, 27 hours of flight and buses and stuff to get to his front door, only so we could jump off a pole and then jump to a acrobat skill type of deal. But whatever it was, we just wanted to grow. And think that's really, really important. As I'm listening to this out loud, it's like, if you're going to be, married and be a successful couple, you got to grow together. And that's so important. Like, if you don't have something that you can take outside of your home for the purpose of just growth, I mean, you have to have stuff like, lovecations. We do that all the time. We take, we're Hispanic, so we celebrate everything. We have an anniversary for the first date we have an anniversary for our wedding, we have anniversaries for the wedding, we have anniversary that we had anniversaries for. Like,
we got 2 anniversaries. It works great.
Oh, well, let me tell you why it works. It's their idea. This is, why anniversaries don't work is because they're very stressful. At least maybe I thought this was because, like, I feel like this guy's responsibility. We got to plan this all out, right? So I was like, she's like, oh, I want to celebrate this. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. If we're gonna celebrate 2 anniversaries, one's on you and one's on me. And so now, because we're so freaking competitive, like, we try to, like, beat each other out, like, come up with these.
Oh, try to outdo each other.
I love it so much.
She has an anniversary that she does, and I have an anniversary, the wedding anniversary, and we literally compete. Like, honestly, like, let me tell you some of the stuff that she's done. Like, she once set up this anniversary, we went to the beach, and we rode Clydesdales. Clydesdales was big, which, by the way, I've always thought, like, they're, like, majestic animals, and they are, right? Like, incredible, like, beast, right? And they're so, like, they're not, like, mean at all. They don't kick you or anything like that. They let us get on top of them, and we swam with them in the ocean, and literally, like, in the ocean. And here we are, like, oh, like, it was amazing. So, like, we've done, like, pretty incredible stuff, and, like, I took her camping.
It was much better.
We got some teepees for our anniversary, and like, camping. I mean, we had a king size bed inside of a tent, with air conditioning inside of a teepee.
So you went glamping.
But we did cook all our meals.
Yes.
On a grill, so that felt like, and there was no TV, so I felt like it was like roughing it, right?
Oh yeah, no TV. I was like, where's the Netflix? Like, I need this.
Yeah. So the second night, she was already having Netflix withdrawals. We literally went to the Tesla and sat in the Tesla and watched what's that movie, The Rock? Red Notice, in the car.
That is awesome.
That was our anniversary dinner.
Yeah.
That was it. We actually sat in the car. That was it. That was the anniversary. Yeah. So our anniversary dinner. What was our anniversary dinner? We went to some, like.
We didn't go anywhere. We grilled some food on the grill.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you grilled you grilled some food on the.
We grilled some food. We ate it in the car, or at least the dessert in the car, and we watched it in the car.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But those
yeah,
are the special moments you remember, man.
yeah.
Those are special times, always.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I am.
I know we do a lot of talking. We know that you guys do a lot of questions. So is there anything?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Oh, I said I know we do a lot of talking, so we didn't get to a lot of your questions. Is there?
I am, like, loving everything here, just kind of getting to know you guys even more, and just kind of taking it all in. So one question I have is, like, when you guys do have challenges, how do you guys resolve it? Do you have any steps
I'm
that
always
you
right.
guys do? Huh?
I'm always right.
You know what's funny? I was
Mr. Right, are you Mrs. Always Right?
I'm always right. For the most part, I'm always right. Like,
There are some. Hold on. There are certain things that she's never right on, and so, like, she just is.
That's it.
In spelling.
So you just cave in. You just give in, Gil, right? That's it. Okay.
So those are mine. Those are gimmies. I win all of those, right? If it's about the kids, she always wins. Like, on the kids, I'm like, okay, like, I'm outmatched here, right? So, but, like, there's, I think there's certain things that, like, I make decisions on, she makes decisions on, and there's certain things that we have to come back together and be like, like, let's take a look at this. But I think the one thing we don't, if people heard us, I don't know if they would know that we joke a lot. Like, I think that they would think, oh my God, people would kill themselves. But like we just like to joke when we play off of each other a little bit. And sometimes, like, it's just like, can't take it all serious.
I mean, we argue. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit here and try to depict, like, what they say in Spanish, todo color de rosa, okay? Because it's not.
I almost killed her before the show.
But, like, it's
twice.
This is what I was just telling Alicia. I was like, how do we make it? When we want to kill each other, we just don't.
That's it. That's the secret.
So
write that down. That should be a quote. Ready? So here's the secret to success in marriage, right? Because when you want to kill each other, you just don't.
Just don't. Wake up the next morning, you don't feel the same way, right? That's it. We're gonna argue. Listen, I'm super strong personality. He is a super strong alpha male, right? You got two people who are high deep personalities. They're gonna bump heads, who are very, driven. Like, we both run businesses, we both do our thing, and then we have each other, right? So there's gonna be times that we're gonna argue, and they're not gonna be fun. And then there's gonna be other times where, I may not want to talk to him for the rest of the day. That's, I need my time right now. And, I'll warn you, like, don't talk to me. You don't want to talk to me right now. And give me space. So it's about understanding each other's limits, understanding, okay, I pissed her off or I pissed him off. And then, admitting when it's you're wrong. And I'm not the best at it.
Wow. You said that? That's pretty cool.
Look, I said it all live. Look,
That's recorded.
Gail, I feel your pain. Don't worry. Gil, you won. You won.
Out of here. I'm done.
I am not the best at admitting ever that I'm wrong. I'm getting better.
Choice that you were not alive. Guys, say it.
Sorry. I don't know what I'm sorry for. No, my apologies are I'm sorry you felt that way, like, or I'm sorry you got offended, right? Like, stop, I'm not mean, you're sensitive kind of attitude is what I have, right? So
yeah, I think you and Rebecca need to spend more time together, Lorena, because this was the same way.
No, you're not listening. She's like, her sorry, and I'm sorry, you're so sorry.
I'm sorry, you're sorry. But
No.
Whoa,
You gotta keep it out of them.
Yeah, so I read books and I listen to stuff and I'm working on it. And there's, I'm be the first. Words are tough for me. Like, I will not come to him and be like, babe, I'm really sorry for what I did. But if I haven't talked to him for a couple hours, I'll just bring him a plate of food and be like, hey, and that's my peace offering, right?
That's your apology.
I love you.
For a long time, you just took coffee.
A peace gift, a peace offering.
Yeah.
An olive branch.
An olive branch. Yes. So, yes, it can get heated in here. But at the same time, we love more than we hate. So it's like, or dislike, because we don't hate. Hate's a very strong word. But we love each other and respect each other more than those small pieces of times that we argue.
Yeah,
we ever argue business, money, giving contributions. Our arguments are so petty. Like, I think that's why we laugh about them afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I was planning things for Disney.
Broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So, a hot button is like what she'll like to do is she's really good at this too. Like, so I've had to kind of like ebb and flow and dodge and stuff like that. So I got to be very creative in my arguments because like she's kind of like figured some stuff out. I've read like when she's winning, I start reading books. Like, I literally watch YouTube videos, how to manipulate your wife and win. Like,
I can't with you.
For 12 years, he's trying to manipulate
for 12 years of time, it works. For 12
Gil,
years of time, she's like
she's an attorney. You go
yeah,
on with that.
like, listen. I always say, like,
you know what? I give him A for effort.
Failing the psychological.
listen, I'm pretty good at what I do.
Through.
Yeah, I lasted this long. Yeah. So check it out. So I will tell you, like, the one thing that we've learned along the way, because we didn't have all this shit figured out. Like, we had to literally work on this. And I think that, she was right on point when she talked about Tony Robbins. The reality is that we realized that you can waste a lot of time in a relationship suffering, right? And I think that was something that I learned a lot when we were Tony Robbins. That's Date with Destiny. It was like, you get to choose how long you suffer, right? And you get to define what that really means to you, right? And I remember in the very beginning of a relationship, like, I want to solve problems, right? So I want to, like, if something's fucked up, I want to solve it right then and there. And she's like, nope, I'm not going to do that, right? I want to, like, just distance myself from the problem, right?
Yeah, because I can't talk in that level of emotion because I'm going to go tell you to go somewhere with yourself. Yeah. So in that moment, I can't think clearly. And I know that about myself. I need time to calm down. Where he wants to, let's talk about it now. Yeah. Talk to me right now.
So
that's me, Gil.
I think if there's anything that's been successful along the way is that we figured out how to shrink suffering time, right? So like, I literally like, oh shit, I'm not gonna get to talk to her for like 3-4 days. And that's how, like, early on, like, that was our relationship. And it was like, then here's the thing, it got to a point where she like wanted to talk to me and I wanted to talk to her, but we couldn't like break it down, right? So
Who's gonna give in first?
right. So like days, 2 would go by, 3 days would go by, and then we're like, okay, we're done with that. Okay, let me tell you everything that happened.
So now we don't suffer that long. It's taking growth. So now we go in a couple hours, or overnight if it's the nights that fight. But we come back and we fix it and move on. So yeah, I don't want
Josh and I can relate. We can relate to that so much because he was the same way. Anytime that we had a disagreement, he wanted to come to an agreement right then and there in the heat of the moment. And I'm about to blow up and start throwing punches. So I'm like, okay, I just need to step back for a minute. I need to digest this.
Right.
I'll be ready later, maybe tomorrow, but
right.
I can't in the moment because I'm going to say things that I'm going to regret later. And the moment I can't think, and my brain is like, I don't know, I just start saying craziness, and I don't want to do that. I want to think things through.
Right.
So I know that I need to step back, think about it for a minute, and then we can talk about it because I don't want to sweep it under the carpet, right? I don't want to let it go for 2 or 3 days so it's festering where it just like stinks so bad, right? But sometimes you need that time, right? Just to kind of rethink everything. Am I really in the right or am I in the wrong? And just kind of see how can we solve this, right? What middle ground can we come to so that we can come to an agreement? So I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. And I think another thing that helps for us is really being around relationships that you want in your life, right? Like you guys very much like us have, I think figured out at least what works in your relationship, right? I can't speak for everybody, but what works for you. So it's being around. She love y'all. Look, that's plural.
She's being nice.
It's about being around a circle of people that you want to strive to be good around, right? Toxicity breeds toxicity. Love breeds love, right? So when you pick your circles and your couples that you want to be around those that make you look at your relationship and like, I can be even better, right? Versus being around couples because there's a lot of couples that disrespect each other, have no problem disrespecting each other in public, and then that almost opens the door to it, right? So then he does something and you're like, oh look, why? Because it's accepted in that environment or in that circle that you're in, and then you have no problem being disrespectful to one another. And then I think that's where the breakdown falls, right? So you have to be around couples that understand, like, we got a problem, we're going to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it in public. We're going to deal with this when we get home, right? You're going to give them that look like, about, that look.
I totally agree with you, Lorraine. I agree with you so much.
So that's what I found works for us. We are around couples that we admire. Like I said, like you guys, we're around couples that make us want to be better and we can learn from. And that's what's important. So that, kudos to you guys for creating this show and this environment for other couples to show the good and the bad and how do they make it work, right? Because there's couples who still trying to figure that out. And it's not an easy road. It's not a short road. You're not going to figure it out overnight. Gil and I have been together for 12 years. Right. It takes time.
It takes time. It takes time. And that's what I love about our Married in Real Estate community. And so this show is all about highlighting other couples, seeing how they work together, how they're successful together, so that other people can be inspired as well and take, even if it's just one nugget that they can take to help build their relationship, their business, their families, right? And so for anyone who's not already in the Married in Real Estate private Facebook group, please, check it out and join the group today. We'd love to have you. And for those that are watching this right now, if you'll go ahead and just kind of give it a like or a love if you're enjoying the show. This is what we're all about, is bringing top couples that are successful, that have great relationships, or even maybe not so great relationships. What can we learn from them, right? And so I want to thank you guys. One last thing before we end the show. What advice would you give couples who are struggling or looking to start working together? 2 different questions there, but what advice would you give other couples?
You want to go first?
You give them the answer.
Me? You want me to just give them the answer?
Answer, bro.
Okay, so the advice I would give couples one is truly understand and know each other, right? If you've just been in a relationship for a year or 2 years, you really truly know each other's likes, dislikes, and values. So make sure you do know that. So make sure you're aligned with those values. And above all, I think like what we said before is understand your role. And I know that sounds so, a lot of people
say that.
like know your role. You can say it in a very negative connotation, right? Like, yo, chill, know your role, right? Like, but that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying like know your role, like, oh, as a woman, you're supposed to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, cleaning and you know, taking care of kids. That's
pretty sexy, actually.
Maybe, but that's not what I'm saying about your role. Know your role in your relationship. What, right? Your relationship role. Like what do you, everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and for any couple to be successful, you know, it's very hard for both of you to go up together when there's nothing down here, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean because I'm behind in one aspect that I'm always behind him. And like I mentioned earlier, my light is not any dimmer, right? Because his is shining, or you know, his light is big enough for both of us, and my light is big enough for both of us. So it's, don't ever look at your partner and feel jealousy. That's one thing, right? Don't ever look at them and be like, oh, you're only there because I don't get credit, or I don't, or you're not doing enough, or like that should be me up there with you, or something like that. It should be, you know, so don't ever look at each other with envy, I guess is the word, envy. Yep. 2, credit where credit is due. And that's my biggest thing. I tell Gil this all the time. Give credit where credit is due. Because if you have a partnership, right, a relationship where, like I said before, maybe Gil is the one that's shining up because I'm doing things in the background, and you staying up there and it's all, I did this and I did that, well, then you're not giving credit to the partnership that you have. And that's where things deteriorate, because then why do I want to give giving if you're not giving credit for the success that we have together? So don't envy each other, give credit where credit is due, and trust. Those are the 3 things. Trust each other. Trust that your partner has it. Trust that you guys are going to be able to do it together, and trust that your values are aligned and you're so in sync together that no matter what you do, it's just going to be successful because you're doing it together. So those would be my 3 words for them too.
So I love
3 big words with exclamation.
Gil, how about you?
Yeah, I would say, like, you know, we tend to fall in love with somebody because they're a little different than we are, right? And you know, we talk about that, call it marrying your deficiency, right? So like, oh man, this person figured it all out, right? Just look how much fun they have, right? And always smiling and laughing and things of that nature. And then they're probably thinking of you. They're like, oh man, look at this person. They're got it all figured out. Like, look at them, just get shit done, right? And you know, and for a while that kind of like floats the boats, right? So you're like, oh man, life is great. And then all of a sudden one day you're like, fuck, man, life's not just laughing all the time. It's not a fucking beach, man. Get to work, get something done. I'm like, look, dude, you're always stressing out, right? And you know, I think if you can appreciate why you came in, I think that's probably one of the biggest things is that I appreciate how we came into the relationship and all the craziness that was going on in our worlds, right? And like, you know, we worked hard to get to our spot. Like this isn't a Cinderella story or something like that. I didn't find her glass shoe.
Coffee.
Yeah, like,
you think he gave me a lost shoe? Like, no.
Sounds more like the Tangled story,
right?
Didn't.
There.
But you know, you stay in it because you have an honest appreciation for each other. I think that's the part, is the appreciation. Like, and honestly, like, I don't want to paint this as the perfect relationship. I don't know what a perfect relationship is. My parents have been married for 51 years, and I mean, like, they probably wouldn't consider themselves perfect relationship. I do. Like, I know that they've worked hard, and they struggled hard, and they pushed each other, and they helped each other come back up. And you know, that comes with a lot of like cussing and screaming. I kind of love that stuff, honestly. Like, we hang out with my parents almost every other weekend.
Oh my God, I love it. When I go over there, I'm like, see, this is what I strive for. This loving, toxic relationship you guys have. I love it.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, he married his mom. I'm so behind.
As long as you keep it fun, keep it interesting.
Yeah, right.
By the way, if there's any couples out there that are good at dominoes,
oh my God,
you know, the challenge is out officially.
You like to play dominoes.
But listen, guys, I want to say this. I want to say I think you guys are incredible. You two. I think what you guys have done with this show, what you guys have done as a couple, what you guys have done with your real estate team, what you guys have continued to do, what you guys are going to be doing in the future, like it's I'm honored to be with you guys, to be honest with you. I think that it's been an amazing journey to watch you guys, to be side by side. We've grown with you. I mean, like, you know, we didn't have all this shit figured out. To be honest with you, like, there's so many things I think we admire about the two of you guys. We probably didn't tell you enough, but the reality is that, like, we know what it feels like to work together. So we kind of understand that, and, you know, we admire that, and that's kind of why we mess with you. We can figure out, like, the reality is that, you know, we want to work with people that think like us, right? People that want more, that want to work together, that make people feel better when they're around. And I think that you guys do incredible about that with your light. I mean, you know, Josue, you know, I think you're an incredible man, and I think that that's important to me, to find men that of caliber, of ethics, that, you know, when they're in a room, that room is set by a man like you, and I appreciate that about you as well. So, you know, we're thankful to be associated with you guys. We're thankful to be partners with you guys, and you know, just had fun.
That means so much to us. Thank you so much, because we look up to you guys. we're excited to be partnered up with you, and I think it's after a conversation with you and Carlos that inspired us instantly to make that decision to also join EXP together. And it's a decision that we have not regretted ever. And I feel we are the ones learning from you guys. And of course, as great couples, you know, we like to surround ourselves with other great couples, and we feel very fortunate to have you and Lorena as well, who are just crushing it together in life, in business. And I love what you guys are doing and how you are growing that organization, how you are growing those agents personally. I watch, you know, from your schedule, on your day-to-day schedule, how you guys carefully craft that. And it's just extraordinary, honestly. And it's a great example that leaves for all of us, you know, to kind of follow. And, you know, success leaves clues. Yeah. And I love seeing those clues. I've always known about Tony Robbins. I never once went to any of his conferences until this year. And I think, of course, because you guys are such heavy advocates of him. And he's quite extraordinary. If you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, you must attend the next one.
Without a doubt, you have to be there. And by the way, Gil, that was the best 15-minute meeting of my life. So thank you so much, man.
15 minutes?
That's all it was, a 15-minute meeting.
Yeah, to join EXP?
Yes. Yeah. We got to the point, and I said, okay, I'll reach back to you. I came home, and I said, Rebecca, we're done.
Pack it up.
Honestly, I mean, for those of you guys in the story, I knew of Josue, but I didn't know Josue, right? I literally went to Carlos and was like, hey, man, like, because I'm a wallflower at a party, right? I literally went up to Josue. I went to Carlos and said, see that guy right there? I want you to introduce me to that guy. It was interesting because my wife is very similar to that. Her best friend from law school, she literally sat in a law class and sat in the back room, was just like, see that girl right there? She's gonna be my best friend. And just the godparents of our daughter.
Yeah, like, 20 years later, we're still best friends, because I think it's important to understand the energy that people give out, right? You say a lot about yourself when you don't say nothing about yourself, right? When you're not constantly having to move this to justify who you are, your essence in itself speaks. So, and, you know, you just gotta be a good understanding and a reader of it. And that's what it was. You guys gave out a incredible, honest, authentic, and genuine energy that is welcoming, right? Not everybody has that, and you know, you guys did, and clearly he saw that, and you guys saw that, and that's why we were able to kind of mesh together very well. So
I love it. Well, we are past due for a dinner together again.
Yes.
So we're definitely have to schedule that. But thank you so much for sharing with us, with our viewers, and we appreciate you so much. So till the next one, we'll catch you on the next show. Bye.